And we are back. Welcome to the Redbird Redzone podcast. My name is Will. You can find me on Twitter at LiveOnThatSwing. Joining me today, I've got my two amazing co-hosts. Why don't you two introduce yourselves?
What's going on, bitches? We're back. It's Jackie. You can find me on Twitter at JSanDiego. That is with two O's. Super pumped about the draft.
Yo, I'm Mac. Thank you guys for joining us. You can find me on Twitter at AZ Sports Fiend, and we're here for the first time in the 2024 season. I think we probably recorded in 2024 at the end of last season, but for the upcoming season, this is our first podcast, and we're here to kind of break down the Cardinals draft. By all accounts, Monty Ossenford crushed it once again. What say you guys?
Guys, we're not winning a single game because I love this draft.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, shit.
Pack it in,
I
folks.
love this draft. I've literally only got one complaint about it, and it's I don't like our seventh rounder. If that's my only complaint, then we had a good draft.
We will get into that, I promise.
I was going to say, we didn't draft a punter, did we? I figured that'd be high up on your list. Every year, you're like, hey, let's do a little mock drafts heading into the draft or at the end of the seasons. And every year, it seems like you got a punter on your list. So, did we draft a punter?
Well, no. I mean, why would we draft a punter? I mean, Blake Gillikin's been doing great for us, hasn't he?
Okay. I'm just thinking Will's head. I don't know. It's been a while since I've been in college and had threesomes and shit. So, who knows? How you been, Will?
Oh, I've been doing well. Finals are kicking my ass, so that's going on. I'm actually recording outside today because there's quiet hours in my dorm right now, so I can't.
wants to hear you yell about the draft picks.
Oh, they've heard worse.
How you doing, Jackie? How you been?
I've been good. Life is good, except if you're a Suns fan and if you're a Coyotes fan.
Oi.
Huh?
Said oi.
Yeah, it's been rough outside of football season, so I'm glad we finally have something positive in the Arizona sports community to talk about, and that's none other than Marvin motherfucking Harrison Jr. He's a Cardinal. We've been crying for him to come here during the season. We thought, man, you tank for Marv. Like, fuck Caleb Williams. We had to hear at the beginning half of of last season that, the Cardinals are on the clock at number one. They got to take Caleb Williams. They got to move off Kyler.
I was so sick of that narrative, by the way.
Yes, and I'm glad it's fucking dead, and we got Marv.
Our long national nightmare is over, folks. We finally have our wide receiver one.
Yeah, it's been a minute. I mean, leading up to it, we haven't, my whole thing heading into kind of where we were picking and where Marvin Harrison would be. To me, the whole time, he just reminded me of a Larry Fitzgerald, but faster. Some people say he probably isn't as good at contested catches, but we'll see. I mean, he made some hell of a catches over at Ohio State. So looking forward to it, seeing what is in store for the young man. And, he's got the same middle name as Larry Fitzgerald, and they're both juniors. So carry on the legacy, young man. What are you sipping on over there? Is that
It's an 805 cerveza.
I don't know if I've seen an 805 in a bottle before. Okay, I like it.
It's funny because these actually used to come in like amber bottles.
Right.
But now they're clear. But yeah,
it's
right. 805 cerveza.
I was going to say, is that some sort of, it seems like some Corona or something, but sticking with my Coors Light.
If anybody's drinking at home, throw it up in the comments. Chat. What you're drinking. What do you got, Will?
I'm not drinking anything. Last time I got really drunk, I texted my ex, and that was not a good night.
Yikes.
I thought you had some titty milk on tap or something, Will. Come on, man.
Not tonight, I'm afraid, but maybe on Friday.
I heard it's good for finals. Brain power.
Yeah, I mean, we've been banging this drum for months.
Ooh, triple hops. What, Tyler?
Not just for Kyler, but for Marv. I mean, to land a player who is either a consensus number one or number two player on most people's draft boards is phenomenal. because I mean, we never get this guy. We never draft a player like Marv. We
And
never draft a guy who wants to be in Arizona.
And there's no doubt in my mind that Marvin Harrison was the number one choice on our big board. You know, we weren't putting those quarterbacks way up there. So for because Monty Ossenfort got, trades offered to him, and for him to turn that down, thinking about the haul he could have received, we could have received. He was number one on the big board, and they were absolutely thrilled that we landed him.
And I mean, it was mildly infuriating to me to hear so many different people say, okay, the Cardinals are trading down. The Cardinals are trading down. It's like as if it's some foolproof strategy after one draft. It's like, no, you can't look at one draft and say, okay, this is this guy's MO. Yeah. This is how he drafts. No.
Yeah, you can't pass on potential Hall of Famers just to get more picks. Sooner, it's nice to have as many picks as you can, garner, but sooner or later they got to turn into fucking good players. Otherwise, What the hell are we doing here? It always made sense that we were either going to move that 27 pick or that first pick on day 2, which, obviously we did.
I will admit I was mildly shocked to not see us move up from 27, but given the guy we got at 27, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, no, the guy that we got at 27 was mocked to us a few times at 27. I felt like edge was a more dire need rather than corner, given the fact that we did sign Sean Murphy-Bunting. So I think to go out and it kind of surprised people that with that pick. And I think what it is that a lot of people don't really know that much about the prospects going into the draft. So they start doing these mocks and they see a trend with the mocks and then they just run with who's there. That's who they hyperfixate on. And when you don't get that guy and you get somebody else, then they're like, oh, I don't know the name, so they must suck. Well, you're not a fucking talent evaluator in the NFL, so sit down.
Exactly. And I mean, again, seeing this level of talent and seeing the guys we're bringing into our culture, I mean, the first thing Robinson asks when he's on the phone with Monty, do you guys remember what he asked?
What?
When do I come to camp? Culture. Building a culture that we've never fucking had. Getting guys who are fucking dedicated. I love it.
No, did you listen to the pressers?
I did not. I didn't, but I did watch I did watch some of the promo videos. I did hear bits and pieces about Ryman. Oh my god, I love his answers. Love that guy.
So I listened to Marvin Harrison and Darius Robinson's presser, and I mean, like, Marvin Harrison, given the prospect that he is, he could have just sat there and not answered shit, and I would have been fine. But you know, he was very well spoken, and I mean, the majority of the focus was on him. But Darius Robinson, he just seems like such a smart, polished guy. He's got 2 degrees, but he's like, you can tell when Monty said, like, we want character, we want great locker room presence. That's the kind of guy he brought in, and I feel like he can be somebody that can really get the defense going, like just really come in and be a leader.
Yeah, I mean, he was a 2-time team captain for the Missouri Tigers. Kirby Smart called him one of the toughest players to guard. So, you have the Georgia fucking coach coming out after the game and calling him a grown man, one of the toughest players to guard in the SEC. And he was in the interior D-line for his first.
And I mean, also, sorry to interrupt. Given the nature of SEC D lines, that is high praise. That is high praise because those kids, they're fucking corn-fed D linemen. These kids come out of the womb 6'6", 350.
Especially considering he spent his first 3 years on the interior, and then for him to bounce outside and be as productive as he was last year. I mean, I feel like his floor is he's got a very high floor since he's played kind of all over the line. So he's a very good rush defender. If he can just kind of polish himself, might have to, slim down just a little bit to hit the edge a little bit quicker in the NFL. He's going to be a beast to deal with moving forward in the NFL.
And I mean, Jesus Christ, that spin move is a thing of beauty for him. Oh my God. He just makes it look effortless. I am in love with that pick. I love that pick. We are going to win 0 games this season.
Shut up. No, I like the pick too. I mean, at first I'm like, okay, it wasn't a guy on my radar. Then you kind of do your homework, you fall in love a little bit. The only so his pro comp is Marcus Golden, and then the only
I
knock on
love that.
him, and I love that too, is just the fact that his change of direction isn't quite as on par as some of these other professionals here in the league. But I mean, he's got the work ethic. He's the kind of guy that's going to come in, put his nose to the ground and put in the work. So I think with our coaching staff, we can develop and coach him up into something that we've been dying for on this defensive line.
Hell yeah. When we have the second least amount of sacks last season. So that was definitely a dire need heading into 2024. And another dire need was cornerback. We selected 3 of those. Starting with Max Melton, and it seemed like Monty Ossenfort was on 98.7 this afternoon talking about how it was stressful when they traded back right there from 35 to 43 because they were hoping the whole time that Max Melton would be there. They said they probably had a range of maybe 2 to 3, 3 to 4 guys in that little pocket right there where they felt comfortable enough to trade back to 43, and you're thinking, okay, we're 8 spots. We have about 3 to 4 guys that we really, really love.
And it should be noted that 3 cornerbacks were taken before we selected Melton.
But you could just tell how excited they were when they landed him. And he called himself a lockdown corner, Max Melton did, and he had 8 interceptions while at Rutgers. So, bring all that competition in, and it's nice to see that a lot of these holes we had last year, with 11 picks in this draft, that we're bringing in competition. And that's all you can ask for as a fan. We all know there's a rebuild in progress. They didn't overspend last year. They didn't try to bring in Band-Aids like Steve Keim has shown to do in the past. And for us to land as many players as we did at premium positions, it feels good right now to be an Arizona Cardinal fan.
And it should be noted, Melton, his best game came against Marvin Harrison. He held him to 4 receptions and 25 yards.
I was just about to say that.
To hold a receiver of his caliber to that little of a day, that's genuinely impressive. And if he can come out of the gate swinging like that at the NFL level, I think we will have ourselves a hit.
If you can't beat him, join him. What do you do when you get the best wide receiver in the draft? You get the guy that fucking clamped his ass. So I like the pick. People say that, we kind of complicated ourselves a little bit by not getting Kool-Aid, not getting Cooper DeJean, but this is clearly a guy that Monty and company wanted. How he fell, who cares? But I like that he's a press man corner. I feel like we desperately need somebody like that. I know I was looking into him, and in college, quarterbacks should stop throwing his way. And remember a cornerback that we had that QBs would stop throwing the way? Patrick Peterson. We need somebody. He might not be on that level, but we need a true corner that nobody wants to throw to.
We're jumping way ahead here, but I want to get this out of the way.
Will I am.
What's up?
You went out there for a minute. You said you want to get this out of the way, and then it cut out.
I love this. I love the. I'm going to jump to the 5th round, or was it 4th or 5th? Whatever. Darian, the kid from Texas Tech. I love that fucking pick. I've seen Honey Badger comps for him. I've watched his tape. He's a fucking speedy motherfucker. I love that man.
Are you talking about Taylor Demerson?
Yeah. Oh my God.
That I've seen that people say that was a reach too, or that safety wasn't a dire need. Obviously it's not. But You
But
kind of figure,
if he can come in and produce at a similar level that he did to college and potentially replace one of the Thompson twins at safety, I mean, it's not a need. But if we can bring a guy in and he's better than what we got, then I mean, why are we
right?
complaining?
Because remember when Thompson went out or Buddha went out last year, we had some no name that didn't do shit. So it's
Yeah.
it was gonna be we needed to address that at some point. And I love me a good athletic safety. I feel like safety is my favorite position outside of quarterback because I just love seeing guys fly around and
Hit motherfuckers,
ball hawks get those big hits. So I'm happy with that pick as well.
Speaking of reliability, one of the picks I like is Christian Jones. He started every single game 4 years in a row at Texas. I don't admittedly know as much about him as I do other prospects, but seeing that on his sheet makes me really happy. Just given the turnstile nature of how fast we run through these fucking offensive linemen.
Yeah, I mean, he gave up 1 sack last season at Texas. So you're in the excuse me. They were in the SEC last year, right?
No, they were in the Big 12 still. This is their first year in the SEC.
Okay. For some reason I was thinking, but still, I mean, you have 1 sack in your whole college season, and going back, the year prior, I think he only gave up. God, I forgot the amount of pressures, but it's one of the best in college football. So to get him in the 5th round, I mean, the upside is there, and that's all you can really ask for at that point.
And I mean, his build is about as prototypical as you can get. 6'5", 305. I love that.
And plus, your best ability is your availability. That's what I told Colby. So if you can start all 17 games, kudos.
I'm going to make a proclamation here, and you guys are going to wave your hands around and tell me no. I think this rivals the Larry draft.
I think so. When you have so many picks, I mean, you have a very good chance of, a handful of them hitting. And at the end of the day, that's, that.
But I mean, just looking at this on paper, this draft is nothing less than a success. I mean, there is very much a reason that every single outlet has given us an A for this draft. The Ringer gave us their highest grade. ESPN gave us their highest grade.
Mel
Everybody
Kiper.
loves this. Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Draft himself.
Oh my God. And it's so refreshing to hear us, have us come on, and it's not doom and gloom about a draft. It's not, oh, well, I don't quite get this pick. I mean, my only complaints are, oh, I don't like our 7th rounder, and, oh, I guess we could have traded up in the 1st. But I mean, for what we got, I'm very, very happy.
No, we didn't have to do anything cute. We had the cap. Coming in, we had the capital. We even maneuvered a little bit and got some additional picks in the 3rd and 5th round. One of those. So no, we didn't have to overcomplicate anything. I don't feel like we panic picked anybody. I don't feel like people say that we reached in the later rounds, but I feel like if you have all this draft capital and you see a guy that you like that's still there, why not?
No, if we're talking about reaches, we got to talk about our trade partner. The fucking Falcons trade up what? They traded a 2nd and a 3rd to get a D lineman who, on most people's boards, was 40 picks away. 40 picks away. They could have stayed there. They would have gotten them.
Idiots.
It's like when a woman like posts like, oh, this is my boyfriend, don't you take him? And it's the ugliest guy you've ever seen. Nobody wants him.
You don't know if he's got like a lot of money.
He's fucking hung like a fucking elephant.
No offense to Colby.
Hey.
You know what? Me and my brother had a very good laugh at your expense the other day, Will. I told him that we were going to be recording today, and he's like, damn, ask him if he's had any more threesomes with random chicks named Jackie.
No, what? Why'd I catch a stray?
I'm sorry. You guys are both in here with me, so. But, yeah, For any of you the new listeners, Will came in last year and he's like, "Yeah, I had a threesome." I'm like, "Okay, well, what were
That's
the
how
names
big
or
our ear
whatever?"
was. We were talking about Will's sex life more than we were talking about football.
And so Will's like, "I'll just make up 2 names, Jackie." I'm like, what the fuck? Good times. I'm not letting you leave that down or whatever. But yeah, that good way to start the 2024 season, bringing up some good memories from last year because there weren't a lot of good memories on the football field.
Fuck no. And real
I
quick,
mean, I want to be locked and loaded on every single game this year. I'm going to be. I'm not missing anything for
Hold you
anything.
to that. We will hold you to that.
Jackie, what were you about to say?
real quick though, I just want to say hello to everybody in the chat. We've got a pretty our chat is pretty active tonight. There are some nights that, it's just the same 2 people, but I just want to shout out to Joe, to Tyler, to Colby. There were some people in the chat earlier. I'm sorry because it won't let me scroll up so I can catch your names. But I know Juan was here. Shout out Juan, our #1 fan. But I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in. We love you.
We love you all. Sorry for the stray, Colby.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, no, I mean, looking at this draft, I mean, it could have been so much worse, and we've been in that spot before where we've reached on talent like that, and we've made very puzzling decisions. And I mean, it's so refreshing to not only look at this draft and say, okay, well, I can see how every single guy here can fit in this culture, fit in this position, and come in and make an impact, but to also see, okay, well, other people are saying this too. I'm not insane. I'm not just being a homer. Maybe we have something. It's beautiful. And, I mean, locally, a lot of Panthers fans think they had a decent draft. I've seen nobody who agrees with that.
It could always be worse.
As much as I love this draft, I'm gonna pump the brakes on comparing it to, Larry Fitzgerald, Carlos Dansby.
Oh, for sure. I was being boisterous.
If it can come out and even rival that, and it's like this is the second best draft that we've ever had, then nobody would be complaining, even you, about our 7th round pick. Which what I found interesting, I don't know if you saw that, but was it 20? Let me go down real quick.
It was the Tillman pick.
Yep. Was it 20 years ago to the day or something, or 20?
226 was the pick.
Was it 226? You said.
Yes.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been 20 years ago to the day. It would have been like 25, I guess.
No, he didn't get drafted in 1999. I literally there we go. Sorry, hold on. I know somebody's yelling at their computer. Fucking da-da-da. It's 26 years ago. You're right. Sorry about that. Yeah, 26 years ago today. Pick number 226. Same as Pat Tillman. So even if he doesn't pan out, there's a little significance right there, and rooting for the kid. All you want to do as a NFL prospect, if you're not one of the top guys, is just get drafted, have a chance. And with him getting drafted to the Cardinals with the dire need, Jaden Davis, cornerback, Miami University, all you can ask for is a chance, and he's going to get that here. All these cornerbacks, all these players are going to get a chance because there aren't a lot of players on the Cardinals roster that are locked in for the long term. So
for sure. My only qualm about the pick is that I kind of just wish we had picked Kalen King. That's my only complaint.
Well, if that's your only complaint, then there's a reason why he was in the 7th round as well.
Yeah, true. I will say, though, my boy Will Shipley, I'm going to miss you, man.
That was Will's draft crush from the jump.
The only Clemson player I've ever liked. I saw him play in high school. It was beautiful.
Was there any other draft crushes you guys thought we were going to land and didn't?
Nobody I thought we would land. But I will say him. I was like, okay, well, he's not coming here. He's going to Philly, and I was dead on white boy running back going to Philly. Just perfect.
So you didn't like the Xavier Thomas pick? You said you only like the one player from Clemson, Xavier Thomas, 5th round pick from Clemson.
Listen, man, it's not personal. It's nothing about their game. I just don't like Clemson.
You saw homeboy play football, in high school. That's pretty personal right there.
Oh, I know, but I'm saying, like, I'm a Gamecock. I will be a Gamecock till I die. And it means more.
Go Cox.
More.
Go Cox.
Commercial. It just means more. I think my favorite pick outside of Marvin Harrison, though, was far and away from me, was Trey Benson. We haven't talked about him yet, running back from Florida State.
Let's get into
He's
it.
the first of 4 third-rounders get selected by the Cardinals. He's same height, similar size as James Conner, about 15 pounds lighter, but ran a 4.39 40, which is the second best in the class for running backs last year. His real big weakness, I think, is probably more like in the pass game, but that's something you can develop over time. But super excited to have him in here. He's a hard-nosed runner. He's got a little bit of breakaway speed, averaged nearly 6 yards a carry last year at Florida State, 14 touchdowns, nearly 1,000 yards. So that's someone I'm looking at as, the running back of the future for the next half a decade, once James Conner's contract is up here. So that's somebody I want to be on record. Trey Benson, that's my favorite pick outside of Marvin Harrison Jr.
Should we all go around and say our favorite pick aside from Marv?
I just did.
Jackie?
Well, I really like Max Melton. I do really like the Trey Benson pick. Everyone said that we kind of reached on him a little bit too, but no, round 3, pick 66. That's usually where you take your running back.
Especially
He's been touted as one of the best running backs in the draft.
Yeah.
James Conner's not getting any younger. We need a young physical guy who's, his scouting report says he's very explosive, that he's good in the as a pass catcher. The only knock on him I did see was that he's not very good at pass protection. But that'll come in time. But I like that pick. I watched a little bit of tape on him. He's got some nasty jump cuts, kind of David Johnson-esque. And then his pro comp was Breece Hall. So I'll take it.
I love it. My favorite non-Marv pick is another wide receiver. I love Tejuan Palmer. Watching his tape is a thing of beauty. I mean, that kid is a speed demon. And if I had a nickel for every time we drafted a speed demon on day 3 from UAB who I loved, I'd have 2 nickels.
No, he's sneaky fast. Like, he can take the top off of defenses, and he's big as shit. No more of these 5'7" and under wide receivers. Get some fucking big bodies in here, and then get a big body that's fast.
I'm looking at this draft. I think we are going to heavily emphasize the run this upcoming year, just given the strengths of Ryman and given the fact that we didn't draft another wide receiver till the 6th round. I think, looking at it, I think we are going to adopt, if not a power run, then a run-heavy scheme. And I can absolutely get behind that.
Which does bring us to Tip Ryman, because everybody was... I think that's probably our most controversial pick, not because he doesn't believe in birds, but just the fact that he's a blocking tight end. But he's big as shit. He is a true tight end build, because now tight ends these days are, just slightly larger wide receivers.
Listen, man, if you're a tight end and you're not a lunkhead, I mean, I don't believe in you,
Yeah, what did you say about the try-hard tight ends? Do you get that from him?
I don't know about that, but he's a lunkhead, and anytime a tight end's a lunkhead, I like him a lot better.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect compliment to Trey McBride. I mean, he was quoted as saying that he loves hitting people in the mouth because he feels like that's his God's duty or whatever.
He said that's what God put him on earth to do. Love that.
People complain we reached on people. We had 11 fucking picks. We can reach on people. Have you seen football or basketball league where you stack up on picks because one year you're shitty, So you trade away fucking some of your top guys. You get 15 fucking picks. You're going to reach on fucking good players. They might be, 20 picks higher than what mock drafts had them or these experts had them. But fuck them, man. Monty Ossenfort knows more than all these motherfuckers. So I'm not worried about what anybody says about any of our picks. They're not all going to hit. All we need are for a few to hit. You have a few really hit, and it's a fucking epic draft class. So why not reach for guys that your scouting department absolutely loves?
You have 11 guys coming in to the organization. If half of them hit, it's a success.
Oh, less than that. Literally, if 4 of them legit hit, let's say Marvin Harrison's a Hall of Famer, you get another All-Pro out of it, you get another Pro Bowler or 2 out of it, that's a fucking hit. I'm sorry, that's a hit. Yeah.
I mean, even if they're just like, oh, yeah, these guys are semi-reliable starters who aren't out of the league after their first contract, that's a hit.
No, for sure.
It's not a sexy hit, but it's a hit.
What not a hit is Zaven Collins. As much as I think he's been fairly productive as a Cardinal, the Cardinals announced today, or Monty Ossenfort announced today on 98.7 that they will not be picking up his 5th-year option, which I think is probably the most obvious thing this offseason that's happened, other than Marvin Harrison getting drafted. He's not a fucking Ossenfort guy, a Gannon guy. He can be serviceable, but what is he great at? Nothing. There's not one thing that he's elite at, in my opinion.
Right.
And them bouncing him out to fucking basically an edge or an outside and having him try to rush the passer last year. There's nothing for him that he warranted a 5th-year option. So, that's.
I mean, having the cap flexibility, having the cap's flexibility for him, and being able to make moves that make this team better is an infinitely more appealing option than we're going to take a flyer on a guy who has been completely hit or miss for us.
Yeah,
and hope to God he's a hit from here on.
Yep, I agree.
We've played that game before. We've got burned by that game before.
Don't be surprised if all these guys that come drafted fucking they don't get their 5th-year options for the most part. Fucking picked up, So that's just the way it is when a new staff and GM comes in. They're gonna they're gonna bring in their own guys, so to speak. So I mean, as evidenced by the Diamondbacks last year. Last year was the first year at the end of the year where Mike Hazen didn't have any inherited guys on his 40-man roster. And look, they fucking magically, it all came together and they made their fucking run. That was his fucking vision, finally, with that roster. And I'm not going to expect great success from the Cardinals until damn near every Steve Keim player, other than, let's say, Kyler Murray, and then you can make a case for, obviously Budda Baker and a couple other players, a lot more players in the NFL, on an NFL team than a baseball team. But I think you kind of get the point there. There's going to be a lot of turnover. We talked about it every week last year. There's going to be a turnover this time last season when we let a lot of free agent guys, go. How many of those really popped off? Not a lot. Did you hear about Zach Allen really last year? Not much.
No.
How about Byron Murphy? Not much. I mean, so you're going to bring in the guys that you trust, you believe in, and let the haters and naysayers say their thing. Cardinals have a plan. To me, that's apparent. But
let a naysayer know.
4-year plan. The Cardinals this year, the goal should be a playoff team, but that's not fucking make or break. That's next season, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. This year, I think we can still surprise. I think we can be a playoff team, but
I'm not even gonna hedge my bets there. I think we will be a playoff team.
I think we sneak into the wild card.
Yeah, and I mean,
we have an epic meltdown
with the culture that we're building here, and just the general team we've built. If we make it in the wild card, that brings guys to the Valley. That gets eyes on us. That makes us an appealing option.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could be a playoff team, and I'd probably put my money on it just because, I
already did
what the odds would say. but it's not a make or break that we need to make the
Yeah.
playoffs
No.
or else. You know what I mean? Like
No one's on the hot seat. No one's gonna fault us for
Exactly.
missing the playoffs.
Exactly.
We've got a very young roster that are, guys are still gonna be
Yeah.
developing from last year.
We're
This
gonna be
year,
more
a lot of guys
competitive.
are gonna be coming in and developing. So we're not in win now mode, but we might make a splash.
Yep.
And I mean, seeing what this coaching staff got out of, up either below replacement or replacement level players last year was genuinely inspiring. I mean, we beat the Cowboys. We
Beat the
held
Eagles.
our own against. We beat the Eagles. We held our own against teams that would in any other year would give us fits, and we did it with a subpar roster. If we can get that much, if we can have that much buy-in, if we can have all of this come together with the right people, we're a force.
No, we're playing real football. I believe in the scheme. I like what we're doing on offense. That's why the Tip Ryman pick makes sense. We're going to be running a lot of 12, 13 personnel, 2 tight end sets. And then on the defensive side, Gannon has done a very good job at cooking up different looks for opposing quarterbacks that, gives them hell. And, that Eagles team that without him looks like shit.
Yeah.
So I feel like we can coach up a lot of these young players. We did it last year. We got the most production out of Uber drivers, essentially. That, we're going to make some noise. It might not happen this year, but look out for next year. And, who knows what our cap will look like. Maybe we can actually go out and get a difference maker. But I'm not mad that we didn't this last free agency because we're still not in any position to make a deep run, get value.
But I
And
mean,
like what our
again,
front
it's
office
also
does.
it's also not over. I mean, we
Right.
have a bunch of guys that are still out there who are going to see a roster and be on a team week 1, who we can sign, we can pick up. I mean, I think, and this might take away from my power running argument. The reason we didn't pick up a wide receiver in the draft is maybe we're looking at the wide receiver room in free agency. Maybe we're waiting for those post June 1st cuts. Maybe we're waiting for any number of things to happen to get our guy.
Yeah, I'm just not having huge expectations heading in.
Oh, for sure. I'm not either.
Excited to see these guys develop. I still don't think the depth is probably where you're going to want it to be, moving forward. But it's a lot better than what it was this time last year. That's for sure.
And I mean, us as Valley fans, we've seen what happens when you put together a roster haphazardly. We saw it just this year with the Suns. When you build the roster and then ask questions later, that leads to nothing but problems.
Or you make the roster so top heavy and overpaid that you can't bring in any depth to come in. That's exactly what Steve Keim did to us all those years, is go out and get these flashy names, overpay the hell out of them, and then everybody gets hurt and we're limping into the playoffs, even if we make the playoffs.
Aren't you guys glad we're not paying Larry Fitzgerald $11 million a year anymore?
I mean, I'd love to have Larry Fitzgerald on this roster as a wide receiver 3.
He could still play.
Fuck yeah, he can still play. Larry Fitzgerald.
How old is he now? 40? 41?
Better than fucking
Hollywood Brown.
I was going to say Christian Kirk, but yeah, Hollywood Brown. He can at least get 50-50 balls, not turn them into 20-80 balls. But that's neither here nor there. I mean, I'm not giving Larry Fitzgerald no slander at all. He could take $11 million anytime he wants.
Oh, yeah, but like late career Larry Fitzgerald, where it was just like biting us in the app on cap. I mean, I'm glad we're not going through that anymore. That's all I'm saying.
When is he allowed to be in the Hall of Fame? Do we have
25, 26, I think.
Even though he's never put it in his resignation papers?
I mean, I think it's the last time you were on a roster.
Okay.
I mean, there are a lot of guys who never officially retired. They just never, they never got back on a roster.
Oh, I miss that man, though. I do. I can't lie.
But we have his incarnate,
I like
Marvin
Pitts
Harrison
bets, and I
Jr.
cannot lie. What?
So we have his reincarnate, Marvin Harrison Jr. What number do you think he's going to wear?
69.
Nice. Because Ojolari's not giving up 18.
I mean, every player does that until you pay him, $20,000 or you buy him lunch or whatever.
Oh yeah, Ojolari would take that money, but did he change his number at all in college? Do you know?
I don't believe so.
No, he was 18 all the time. I don't know. Maybe 8. Take away the 1. Forget.
I don't like 8 for a wide receiver though.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel very wide receiver-ish.
I say give him 81.
88 like his pops. How about that?
It's retired.
Fuck. Oh,
89?
that's
I think 89 is still up for grabs.
88 is retired.
8 is retired. That's Larry Wilson.
87. Marvin played a little bit at 87. I can see that. We'll see. What do you think, Jackie?
I say give him 81. Give him Anquan Bolden's number.
No, Aaron.
No, we got to save that for when Anquan gets into the ring, man.
Yeah, that's some disrespect.
Do you think Anquan will get into the ring?
He should.
No, but it's nice to
most fucking catches in Cardinal history. Goddamn should.
I think there are a number of players who should be in our ring that won't be, just because of how our management handled them at the end of their days.
Yeah, until they fucking go like it took so long for Amari Marion to be put in the Suns, but I mean Larry Centers deserves to be fucking in the Cardinals Ring of Honor. Most catches as a running back in NFL history. So I don't know.
We'll see. I think Bolden will get in before Patrick Peterson. I think it'll be a cold day in hell when Patrick Peterson gets into our Ring of Honor.
Oh yeah. Well, Steve Keim's gone too. And Patrick Peterson didn't really say too much about Bidwell, but yeah, Bidwell holds grudges like no other. The Bidwell family.
We shall see.
Man.
I say give him 81.
I say no. Second most centers in NFL history. 6 behind Marshall Faulk.
Damn. The vibes are infectious tonight, my friends.
Yeah. The vibes are infectious. I'm so happy with our draft. I'm so happy for the future. We've got real football people doing real football shit for our football team that has been shit.
Oh, yeah.
Amen.
Nice. It's like a breath of fresh air knowing Steve Keim's not here trying to just fucking do it year by year, that there's actually a system in place and a foundation. We saw the foundation. I mean, we talked about it this time last year. That's the whole thing you need to do as a new regime is lay that foundation. I thought they did a great job of that last season. So you just got to keep building on it now, brick by brick. And it's not going to be, we're not going to turn to the Chiefs overnight, but the way Austin Fort sounds, he wants to be multi-dynamic. If you're down, you need to be able to throw the ball. If you're fucking winning, you need to be able to run that ball in the fourth quarter. So just overly excited. And, I've had a lot going on since 2024 started. Me and my wife got married at the end of October. And then, early January, we found out that we have a baby due. In September, my dad passed away last month, who loved listening to our show. So, shout out Dad. I know I'll see you again. So I've had a lot of things going on in my life where, I haven't given sports as much attention as what I have in the past, so it just feels really good to be back on here with you guys and looking forward to, chopping it up as the season gets closer and, throughout next season and beyond. So thank you guys, man. I was unsure if I was going to do tonight. I've literally watched the first day of the draft and just I've had so much shit going on and, trying to run a business too. It's just, I hate people who complain. You know, I'm not trying to complain or anything, but you know, this gives me a little bit of more joy in my life than you know I've had in recent memory recently. So you know, thank you guys, both of you. Jackie, thank you for setting this up. You know, without you, we would have no podcast. Joe, thank you for being a mentor for all of us. You know, Will, appreciate you giving us the college insight and letting us live vicariously through you. And hopefully you can come out here this year. We can go to hit up another Cardinal game. Make it all three of us this time.
Well, shit, I was telling you guys about that Vegas thing. Maybe we could all go to Vegas.
Hey, figure it out. How much? I needed to ask. How much did you bet through Caesars to get a fucking hotel bought for you?
I don't fucking know because I haven't bet shit on Caesars.
Okay, that sounds like a scam because I bet.
No, it's from.
You're not Caesars. BetMGM, right? Wasn't it BetMGM?
No, it was Caesars. Yeah.
It was Caesars. Okay.
It gave me the offer on the app, and they sent me an email. I mean, I think they're just trying to make me a whale.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's plan it, man. Let's fucking do it.
Redbird Redzone fuck a fan contest in Vegas.
Oh my God, Will.
I think my wife would be a little upset by that, but we could put your picture out there. Well, fuck a fan. Jesus. On that note, what else you guys got on the agenda? Anything?
That's all I've got for today.
Yeah, I got dinner on the way.
I need another beer, but I'm sorry for your loss, Mac, but I'm excited that, you got a little baby on the way. That's very exciting. If you want unsolicited parenting tips, just hit me up.
Yeah. No, and the cool thing was, when we told my parents that we were having a child, my dad broke down and was crying. And by this time, he found out in November that he had about 1 to 2 months to live. So he had November, December, and we found out early January, and we were able to tell him. And he broke down crying, said that he's had dreams that we were having a little baby girl. And so when we found out about a month ago, literally 3 days before he passed, he was basically on his deathbed and he was nonverbal, but we found out he passed on a Monday. We found out Friday that we were having a little baby girl. So we made it a point that he was the first to know. So we went in the room and he was able to acknowledge it. You could tell he, cracked a smile and grabbed my wife's hand with both of his hands. And, and we told him, you met her before we did, and it's okay to go and, bring her soul, the right soul, on earth with her. So it's been pretty heavy, but, to be able to have that and be able to share that with my dad before he passed, he's the reason I got me into sports and a Cardinals fan. And, my profile picture, you look at it on Twitter and it's me and him. And, before I can even remember, he had me going to Cardinal games and ASU games and, Suns at Memorial fucking Coliseum. And, so it's been tough, but, there's little things in life that, push us forward. And just to be able to share that with him before he went was huge. So, but thank you guys, and I appreciate it. Love you guys.
We love you too, man. I can be fucking crying over here too.
I know he's proud of you, and I know he's looking on up above.
Thank you.
Definitely.
All right.
I've got nothing else on the agenda. Any final thoughts?
I'm happy about this draft. I'm excited for the season. Let's go Cardinals.
Yes, let's go Cardinals.
This will be our best year yet. I promise that, folks. Stay tuned. We're gonna have Will was talking about doing giveaways for $500 and shit. So we'll see what's going on.
I was saying no such thing. Shut up.
Yeah, Mr. Fuck a Fan contest.
You gotta go to Will's OnlyFans, fuckafancards.com.
Christ.
Use promo code TOES for your first month subscription for free.
For your first fuck for free. We're out of here.
Damn it. Okay, we're out of here. All right.
All right.
Will, take us
This
out.
This has been another amazing episode of the Redbird Redzone podcast. My name is Will. You can find me on Twitter at LiveOnThatSwing.
And I'm Jackie. You can find me on Twitter at JSanDiego. That is with 2 O's. And actually, I do want to give a shout out and a promo for my boyfriend Colby. If you've been listening to this podcast for like the last year, he's always in our comments. He's always supporting me. So I would like to support him. I had included his in the YouTube description, but if you can just go follow From the Nest AZ, I believe it is, on Twitter. He's doing some Cardinal stuff on there. Awesome content. He's very smart. You know, most of the shit that I know is from him. So please give that a follow.
And I'm Mac. You can find me on Twitter at AZ Sports Fiend. That's FIEN. And we just want to thank you for our first 2024. We're going to call this the inaugural 2024 season edition. We appreciate each and every one of you, and hopefully you enjoyed it and got a couple of laughs, maybe a tear in there too. And I promise that's the only time that'll happen this year. But we thank each and every one of you.
It won't be the only time. It won't be the only time. It'll happen when we hoist the Lombardi.
Oh,
yes.
Shit. Don't hit me in my G-spot, Will. But no, thank you guys. AZ Sports Fiend, FIEN. And we are out.
I'm hitting end on this live stream. Bye.